Good evening, friends. What's going on? How are you? Time for another one of our Slant Alpha adventures, which will be one of our Slant Whiskey adventures this evening. Kind of a shame that we came in just after that arrival there. We're here at Ontario, California. Check out this view, guys. This is amazing. I've never been to, well, I've been to San Diego once. Other than that, of course, that was for Flight Sim Expo in September of 2021. Definitely have never been to this part of California, which is more of the Los Angeles suburbs, I suppose you'd call them. But man, look at that view. That's awesome. And we are here, like I said, at Ontario, California Airport, getting ready to do some Slant Whiskey Ops here on Whiskey Friday. It's the Friday Night Ops event, and it's called the Mountains to Malibu. Of course, we're right here by the mountains, but we're fairly close to Malibu also. But Mountains to Malibu is the name of the Friday Night Ops because it's being hosted by Denver, Salt Lake, Albuquerque, and Los Angeles centers on VATSIM. So the official event coverage starts just about 20 minutes from now. So nothing lit up now because Los Angeles Center was on a little earlier, but they've probably hopped off. And there is actually a tower controller here in Ontario. But the center controller hopped off. I presume that that was either the person who is going to be staffing it for this evening, but they had to go and attend the event briefing, or maybe that was just someone who was just randomly on earlier to provide VATSIM air traffic control services, and now they're hopping off. And 20 minutes from now, we'll have the event staff, the folks who have agreed to work the event, will be hopping on soon enough, is what I imagine. But anyway, yeah, so we're here in Ontario. We chose, actually, it was one of my colleagues in ZDC that chose the itinerary for this evening, and he may be flying along. You might know him as Easy Ed in the chat. He was the only one, I think, that kind of answered up and said that he might fly along, so he probably will be connecting in here soon. And he said, just in terms of trying to find a two-hopper that was two roughly equal legs of, maybe 400 to 500 miles, he had elected for Ontario to Provo, Utah, and then Provo, Utah down to Phoenix Sky Harbor. So that's going to be our trip tonight. We're going to be doing something a little bit unusual, though, and if you happened to have joined us this past Wednesday night, the most recent stream on Wednesday, then you may recall that we were joined by the founder and CEO of a service called sayintentions.ai, new computer-based air traffic control service, AI ATC service, but true AI, true like generative AI, and it purports to be much more flexible and much more adaptive and much more fluid an air traffic control system than the traditional kind of scripted robotic ATC, like computer-generated ATC that you would get built in with your sim or through previous generation add-on products. We are going to be using that service tonight. However, we're going to be using that service just for the AI cabin crew that it also provides. Our air traffic control services are all going to be coming from VATSIM. We're going to try our cabin crew services from Say Intentions. Now, that means I've gone into the settings of this aircraft and I've turned off. It has a handful of like automated cabin crew announcements, so I've disabled that, and we're going to fly without those options here tonight. But with the AI services, the AI cabin crew services, coming from Say Intentions. So I've filed the flight plan through SimBrief, which I don't normally do, but that's to give Say Intentions an idea of what our flight plan is. And then I've gone into the settings, and what I've done, I'm not going to be talking to their air traffic control at all. I don't think there's anything on here that you shouldn't see. You guys know who I am. But in the headset section, I've turned the COM1 and COM2 all the way down. And then the control section, I've unmapped. If I pull my push-to-talk here. What am I tuned to? Okay, my radios are off on VATSIM. That's good. So my push-to-talk is not assigned in Say Intentions. But my second button is my intercom push-to-talk, which is the thumb button here on the left hand on my yoke. So by that, I will be able to talk to and interact with our cabin crew here I guess we should show you. We've elected again. If you were here for the second part of last Wednesday's stream, you saw that we did a PMDG 737 trip from Kennedy down to Charlotte, and this was the cabin crew we chose. They have a number of different options, but this is called the quitting time crew. Jim, Gary, Beverly, and Jenny, and pretty clear that these guys hate their job and their customers. Yeah, and it's funny that the responses that they give are not scripted, but the AI models are trained with this kind of like we DGAF kind of language model that they use. And yeah, it was pretty evident that he really just was ready to go home and drink. So it was pretty funny. And so we're gonna fly with them again. They've got 3 different cabin crews. One is that one. The other one is called the A crew or the A game. I forget what they called it, but the basically the top of their notch, top-notch professional services, which could be good and immersive, but maybe not as entertaining. And then there's one called the Dynamic Duo, which is the famous AI tour guide Janet and her mysterious friend Toby, who never speaks, but is frequently spoken of in all his bizarre antics and such. So we got those options. Well, we got the Quitting Time crew selected, and that's who we're going to be flying with today. First leg, and of course we do this in the BAE146 from Just Flight. So we got every time I jump to the outside view, you got the engine blast of whoever it is that just landed behind us. We're Northwest Jetlink, which was operated by a regional carrier called Mesaba. And so that's who we are, Mesaba 5514. I have no idea whether Northwest Jetlink ever did these routes in the real world, but that's who we are pretending we are today regardless. Flight number 1, as we said, is Ontario up to Provo, Utah, and we're going to be flying the Pomona 1 to Daggett. So I guess what I'll do is got the airport diagram, and we'll get the Pomona 1 and the Pomona 1 continuation page. We don't need the tools there. We can flip that around. We are parked right here on the eastern tip of Terminal 2, and that is our starting gate for this evening. And we will be flying the Pomona 1 departure, which was a conventionally navigated departure. We'll join this, we'll fly this heading to 258 off of either sets of runways, and to this point, the Pomona VOR, and then we'll take the 301 radial off of it to get up to this point, Solzu, and a 19-mile leg, and then from Solzu, whoops, I don't know what I clicked on there. Solzu, we will turn northeastbound on a 047 into the VOR Daggett. From Daggett, we will join the Jet 9 airway, and we will take the Jet 9 airway all the way up to Fairfield VOR, and then I'm sure prior to reaching Fairfield, we'll get broken off, descended, and vectored into Provo Municipal. We'll brief that descent when we get a little closer. But that is the plan, and we'll come back to that map as we start to dial in radio frequencies for navigation and such. The other thing is to watch this big blob of very unsettled air that's kind of headed toward our navigation path. So that it's kind of unusual for weather to be going east to west, but we do seem to have this kind of spiraling clockwise rotation here of weather throughout the western United States. So we do have this pretty big unsettled mass that's coming kind of right toward where we are gonna plan to be. So we'll have to see what happens there. Maybe we request a left deviation after Las Vegas to go up into no man's land in Area 51 area here. Just deviate a little bit north, and then we can rejoin our path later on, possibly, to get around some of that weather if it happens to encroach on our path. We'll have to see what we see when we get up there. All right, but here we are in the aircraft, and let's go ahead and say hello to some folks who have stopped into the chat. We got Smitty the Village Idiot back from his international trip. Smitty, how the heck are you, man? Well, he says, I'm back trying to see what Mr. Slanalf has been up to. Well, you got pretty good summary there. That sayintentions.ai was a service that we encountered a demonstration of at Flight Sim Expo out in Las Vegas. And just like the A2A Simulations Comanche last year, they kind of blew the doors off of us with the demo that they put forth. It was really amazing stuff. and I'm totally enthralled with their project. And we had the founder and CEO on with us on Wednesday to talk a lot about it and kind of mess around with it. So really good stream. You should probably watch that one back. That was a lot of fun. And you get a sense of what that product is and does. And yes, you'll have a little bit more insight into what is happening with us tonight. JJ is back with us. Gaff or gone? I'm going to guess take. Yeah, I'm going to Gaff or gone. Yep, I'm going to. I remember seeing that one before. It's been a while, though. He says, yeah, been a minute, right? Indeed. And I can't remember if I got the pronunciation of your Twitch username even close or not, or what it was, but it is good to see you back here, and hope that all is well. All right, I think we're all set up. Controls are where they need to be. We've got the foregone, okay. Oh, it's like GA, like Georgia, perhaps, foregone. Gotcha. Okay, very good. Okie doke. Well, we've got the controls all where they need to be. We do have the wheel chocks set. We can get the passenger and cargo doors here open. And then I will jump up top. And see on the yoke, we can get the battery switches. Yeah, we got 2 of those. Cabin emergency lights. Is this up top? Yeah, it should be on the high one. Cabin emergency lights are over here. And they'll just go to the armed position. We got the avionics masters all up top. The anti-skid can come on. That's up here as well. Somewhere. Yeah, there we are. And the lift spoiler systems can be powered up as well. We can go down here to the lower part and we'll get the bus ties. AC and DC, so dirty deeds are no longer done dirt cheap here. We got those activated. Get the standby inverter and generator both into the armed position. There we go. The APU generator can be turned on, which is that one there. The left inner fuel pump is the one that powers that APU, so that's the one we'll fire up now. Center tank transfer shall go to auto. The APU shall be started. Yeah, the BAE146. We love this little bird. This is our Whiskey Friday. Now, we're not enriching the mixture here just yet. But probably when we get to our intermission, we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so the exhaust gas temps have spiked and settled. We got the RPMs up to 100%. You can hear that the APU gen bus is kicked on automatically. So we are all good. The APU air can now come on. That'll give us the ability to run one of our packs. We can start cooling off the cabin. We got our galley switch on. And we get the emergency flight deck. Okay, that should be armed, and that is where indeed it already was. Jump down to the front panel here. Master warning knob is already out. You can see it lit up bright red there, so that's good. You can get the nav radios turned on. Number 1 and number 2. And the DME radio can be turned on as well. And then on the center pedestal, we'll get the comm radios on 1 and 2. And the ADF radios on 1 and 2. Although we very, very rarely use those. Let's go over here to our... Do I have one for the... Yeah, I have one for the tablet. And I have the tablet rotated funny because I need to be able to get to these switches here, because this is the switch that you use to determine which set of comm radios you're talking on, and I need to have that accessible because I do use both of those. Let us, 75 passengers and about 4,500 pounds of cargo, 4,400 pounds of cargo. That's fine with me. And then what do we need? Yeah, we are going to need to take on fuel at our stopover. So 8167 in the wings. Center tank should hold 4429, and then we'll have to take on 1,400 more pounds at our stop. Let's just do an instant refueling. And then we'll go ahead and start the boarding process, and we'll just set that for a 10-minute boarding rather than that entire time. I'm still kind of figuring out how the tablet works with the new boarding process. They've recently added that, so still kind of trying to figure that part out. Looks like a lot of our air traffic control services are starting to log on, which is good. Yes, it's my EFB stick scared the heck out of me because I have a real FBS software hooked into this 777 on MSFS. Oh my goodness. High tech, buddy, high tech. You know, we do things a more old school here. Yeah, on the V-Pilot, we've already filed the flight plan. We did have an Ontario Tower. Yeah, we still do. So does that mean we still have an Ontario ATIS? Yep, we still do, in fact. India is current. 260 at 12, 2984, and 26 right. So what was it, 2984? We can go ahead and get that dialed in 3 times. Whoops, 3 times. 84. 84. And 84. And what is the charted field elevation here? Is 944. Wow, is it really that far off? Ooh. So that's, you know, normally like within 75 feet, you know, you're comfortable. This is like 85 feet. So let's see, is it possible that maybe it's just a little lower on this side of the field? 932, 943, 926. Yeah, no, I don't know why we're showing that low. I wonder if maybe I ought to go into my weather setting and make sure. Oh, live weather was not on. Okay, there we go. So let's give that a moment to update. Yeah, okay, there we go. See, that is exactly why you do that cross-check. When you set the field's reported altimeter setting, the field elevation is what should show up on your gauge. And if it doesn't, something is wrong. And
2319! We have a 2319!
in our case, it was with the weather simulation. Often in the real world, it would tell you that something's wrong with your altimeter gauge. But it did indeed tell us that something was wrong with our weather simulation. So now we got that all set and we're good to go. Alright, altimeter set, field elevation verified. Let's go ahead and set the comm radios. Looks like doesn't look like we've got a ground frequency here. So we'll just go ahead and set the tower frequency over here on the right side, which is going to be 120.6. I don't really know what our departure frequency is going to be. I'll see if there's one that's logged on that looks like it's specific to Ontario.
36. Dynasty 024, that's stand 206.
128.05 maybe?
Stand 36, so it's I see. Dynasty 024.
So we'll see what they say as far as our departure frequency.
I didn't see you could get into 36 there.
128.05.
365 November for the international arrivals.
So we'll see what they say in terms of departure frequency, but I'm going to just take a guess at it for now. So we don't need COM 2. I don't have a clearance delivery controller. I don't have a ground controller. We're just going to clearance from tower. Oh, nope, we do, just that quickly. Ontario ground has indeed logged on just now. So let's go back down there. 21.9 is correct, and that's what I've got dialed in. So now we can do the magic switch to COM 2. And there we are dialing on the 121.9. There's our tower frequency. Our departure frequency will go here. Forgone, why do we have a 2319? Because our favorite friend, our favorite monster, Kitty Monster, has shown up. And we always alerted of the 2319 by our Magic Monsters Inc. friends from Pixar whenever Kitty Monster shows up. Iowa Scotsman has stopped in as well. Okay, and I'm going to turn my headset down just a little bit. You guys are booming in my ear. Turn that down just a touch, I think we'll be okay. Alright, let's see if we can go ahead and get our IFR clearance. Verify it's still information India. It is. Ontario ground, Masaba 5514. We get information India, IFR to Provo, Utah.
Provo 5514 with Ontario ground. Good evening. Stand by.
Okay, while he's chewing on that, we'll go ahead and continue on. I'm going to jump down here. We'll punch in the squawk code later, or I'll probably forget. But we'll go ahead and turn the yaw dampers on, and we can set the...
Level 5514, expect PDC.
Okay, he's going to send us a PDC, that's fine. So we'll go ahead and we got the yaw damper on, we got the transponder into transponder mode. So those things are done. We just need to come back and dial in that squawk code once we get it. Let's jump into this TMS, this thrust management system. Power is on.
VFR pattern.
Outside temp was 31 based on what the ATIS information India said. Go into takeoff mode. 770 for the target turbine gas temp for cruise. We'll just leave that there for now, and we'll adjust as necessary. I don't think we can set our V speeds yet because I think we're still boarding. Yeah, so the weight's still changing. We can't really do anything with that in terms of the V speeds, but we can go ahead and set the bugs for, well, 91.4. It'll automatically set. If I click here after the boarding is complete, it'll set the bugs for a flaps 18 takeoff, including the bugs.
14, clearance available, advisory to the copy.
Slava 5514, go ahead.
Slava 5514 cleared to the Provo airport. Palm 1 departure, Daggett transition that is filed. Climb via SID, except maintain 10,000 feet. Expect flight level 290, 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency tonight will be 128.05. I'll let you know if that changes. We've still got a few controllers coming up online. Your squawk's 10161016.
Alright, clear to Provo, the Pomona 1 departure. Daggett transition that is 5 will maintain 10,000, expecting 290 and 5. Departure 128.05 for now. And squawk 1016, Masaba 5514.
Masaba 5514, read back correct, and I love your streams.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, then landing departing 26. Right, so. Okay, all that's done, and now we got our squawk codes. We can dial that in, which was 1016.
Yes, sir. Looking to get departure clearance of flight Boeing to Henderson.
So that's all done. And as soon as the boarding is done, we can go ahead and get the V speeds all done. And for right now, we'll go ahead and skip on past that.
Yes, sir. It's Kilo Hotel November Delta.
Oh, 740 is what I have in my checklist for that. So we'll dial that down just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We'll always have to end up adjusting that as necessary. So as soon as the boarding's done, we'll go ahead and get the bugs set. But for right now, we will just go ahead on. Our departure procedure, as we mentioned before, is the Pomona 1. So as we fly this 258, it'll be straight out 258, and then we'll join a 294 radial into Pomona. So 110.4 and 294, that's going to be our first step.
Can I get that squawk code again for November 252 Alpha.
110.
Roger that, 52320 in the box.
4. We'll swap that in. And what did we say? The inbound course is going to be a 294. Then the outbound course is going to be a 301, and then we're going to make this almost 90-degree right turn, or maybe even more than a 90-degree right turn, a 047 into 13.2. So that'll be the next step.
Still looking for that IFR clearance to LAX.
13.2 and a 045. I'm probably it was not really the long way around. It's probably 6 and 1/2 a dozen of the other since we were about a 2-2. Okay, there we are. What did I say? 047. Initial altitude was 10. And if we want to arm that before we forget, that means I gotta set the flight directors on. And that is now armed. And heading mode is now armed. And the heading to set is that initial 258.
Ready to copy 7.
Don't know whether that's runway heading, whether or not it's runway heading. This is the heading to put in, but I do believe it probably is runway heading. Yep, 258.3. Oops. 2. So 2 clicks short of 260 is what we want there. Okay, so the heading is set, course is set. Nav steps 1 and 2 are set.
Did you say the Cathedral 1?
Once we get out to...
Okay, Cathedral 1 departure and 6,000 feet.
Daggett.
120.5 for the departure and 4654 in the box.
13.2, and then the next one up the line is Las Vegas 16.9. So I'm just going to go ahead and have that dialed in here on the standby on COM 1. Just to have it ready to go. 116.9, is that what it said? Yeah.
We are now ready for taxi, and we do have Alpha.
Alright, is the boarding done? Boarding is complete. Okay, very good. We can now go ahead and set the bugs. And I'm going to spin this bug up to 250.
And hold short 3-1 left.
Since that's what we're going to climb at. But these are our takeoff bugs. If we do have some sort of safety critical issue prior to getting to that second bug, then we'll just eyeball that V2 speed off of where the yellow bug is. No problem. Cabin crew, commence boarding announcement.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Captain.
31 by Echo Bravo for November 5
Are you going to make the boarding announcement or not?
Roger that. Following that diagonal.
Go ahead and make the boarding announcement, please.
Boarding announcement done. Anything else, Captain? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this just flight BAE146 to 200 operated by Northwest Airlink. We're American 514 and 514DD. The weather here at Ontario International is just peachy, with a temperature of 88 degrees Fahrenheit. The sky's mostly clear, so enjoy the view. We'll be cruising at some altitude eventually, but who cares, right? Sit back, relax, or don't. Your choice. Gary, Beverly, and Jenny are here to pretend to care about your comfort. Thanks for flying with us, or whatever.
That's awesome. So I guess they picked up some of the flight details from SimBrief, which is nice, because Northwest JetLink was indeed correct, which I guess they got off of the call sign of Misaba MES. So that's cool. That's fun. Successful experiment so far out of the gate. Yeah, we had we had the option of selecting different crews, and we deliberately selected kind of what Say Intentions calls quitting time. Like they're just over it. They're just done. They're ready to go home and you know, write a strongly worded letter to corporate. Alright, the oxygen systems are on. We can go ahead and set the cabin crew, cruise cabin crew. I got cabin crew on the mind now. We're going to set the cruising altitude, 29,000 feet. Good fixings this here.
Good.
Yes, indeed. So 29,000 set. So that's done. We can stay up top there. We can get the ice detection switch on.
Ground pilot code 411, quit side part of Los Angeles.
The engine anti-ice can come on as we get started here. Seatbelt signs can come on. Greetings from the flight deck and welcome aboard Northwest Jetlink Flights 5514 to Provo, Utah. We're going to be pushing back from the gate here in about 5 minutes, and we're looking to be wheels up by the bottom of the hour. Flight time once we're airborne, 1 hour 40 minutes, and we'll be cruising at 29,000 feet. Weather today is not too bad here at our origin. However, there are some little pockets of thunderstorms along our path to Provo, so we do expect it to be a little bit bumpy today. We do ask that you fasten those seatbelts and bring them down one extra notch tight, just because it might we might be rocking and rolling just a touch as we make our way up to cruise. Hopefully, once we get up to cruise altitude, we'll be above the worst of it. However, we'll give you an update on the weather once we get up there. But for right now, do sit back and relax and welcome aboard Northwest Jetlink's service to Provo, Utah, flight 5514.
Papa 411, clear to Los Angeles for the Cathedral 1, Papa Sierra, Papa transition, then maintain 8,000, expect
I'm going to
12,000.
pre-plan our push back here.
128.05 and squawk 4701.
And if we get past the service road, then that will put us onto that taxiway there, so we will get we'll get get permission to do that before we push. So actually, it's not clear to me. That's going to be November 1, but that might be a ramp lane rather than a taxi. We'll ask our ground controller. All right, but we are getting ready to go, so we'll go with the beacon light. Let's go ahead and get the doors closed. Confirm our parking brake is indeed set, and it is. That means we can pull the chocks off as well. And as we come up top, we'll turn off that pack so we can start the startup sequence. We'll go ahead and get the rest of the fuel pumps on and the start master on. And we are ready to go, I think. Yeah, I did get the update, JJ. I don't notice any difference. But I did get the update. Ontario ground, Masaba 5514 is ready to push off of, I believe it's gate 208 that we're at. Do we need permission for pushing on the November 1?
Masaba 5514, a firm push and start onto November 1 is approved. Face east, advise ready for taxi.
Alright, push and start on the November 1's approved, and we'll face east of Masaba 5514. Actually, I just added push us straight back, and we'll just pivot as necessary, but that's fine. Alright, parking brake is off, hold is off. Let us go ahead and get the number 4 started up. Wait until that gets to about, what, 2 and change, I think? 2.5.
Ontario ground, Frontier flight 1358, radio check.
Frontier Flight 1358, Ontario ground, 5
Roger, thanks Oliver. Hey, it's Drew.
Oh, hey Drew. How'd you know I was going to
Cabin
be
crew,
here?
you can commence the safety
No
announcement.
idea, just doing some FNO ops, you know. We'll see. Good to see you on here.
Haha, that's awesome.
Cabin crew, you can commence the safety announcement.
Yeah, sure, Captain. Safety announcement coming right up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Northwest Airlink flight. We know you have a choice in airlines, and we're surprised you picked us. Please pay attention to the safety demonstration, even though we all know you won't. Fasten your seatbelts, keep your seats upright, and stow your tray tables. Emergency exits are located. Well, you can figure it out. Thanks for flying with us, or whatever. Sure, whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this flight BAE146
he's doing it twice because I requested it twice.
Operated by Northwest Airlines.
Because I didn't.
Our flight number is American 514 and 514 DV. In case you haven't noticed, we're currently at a whopping 937 feet. We'll eventually climb to our cruising altitude, whenever that happens. The weather at our departure and arrival airport, Ontario International, is just peachy with a temperature of 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Visibility is 8 miles, and the sky is mostly clear with a few clouds at 17,000 feet and broken clouds at 20,000 feet. Wind is coming from 259 degrees at 12 knots. Now, if you could all just pay attention for a few minutes, we'll go through the safety procedures that none of you will remember. Gary, Beverly, and Jenny will demonstrate how to use a seatbelt, in case you forgot. Thank you for your undivided attention, or lack thereof.
Yeah, so the reason he's doing that twice is because I held the push-to-talk, I said something about safety announcement. I waited 5 or 10 seconds and he didn't respond, so I thought maybe they didn't hear me, so I did it again. As soon as I let up the push-to-talk, I realized he was already starting to respond to my first one, and then he kind of did it again. So you just gotta remember that this AI technology it does take some time to process. They are working on cutting that processing time down, but it does. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer than you think it does, or think it should, for them to react. We're done with the pushback. Did I replace the Perry's, Captain? I'm not sure what you're asking for, Gon. Alright, so we got 3 good engines coming up on 4. And then let's get ready to finish up a handful of things and we'll get rolling here. Oh, I'm a little early. Did I want to be... Yeah, I actually had said I was going to be off by...
Ontario ground frontier flight.
Half past the hour, so we're actually a little early.
With information
I can't read clocks today.
facing east.
Alright, so the 4th engine, that's all started. We can get the start master off. Engine anti-icing can all come off.
Goodbye.
Start selector, start master, engine anti-icing. We can get the generators on. We can get the packs on.
Missile 5514, are you ready anytime soon, or else I'm going to have to miss this?
I need about 2 more minutes, I'm sorry.
No worries. Frontier Flight 1358, push and start on November 1 is approved. Please use advise ready for that.
Roger, pushing on to November 1 facing east. We'll call you in ready for taxi to 26 right.
Fans on to auto, hydraulic pumps 2 and 3. And the hydraulic cross feeds on. Come down, check our flight controls. We obviously would be checking the exterior flight controls to make sure that they control surfaces are all moving. But of course, in the sim, oftentimes you just want to check and make sure that your sim controls are indeed plugged in and detecting properly. So we're good there. The takeoff flaps can be set. We'll go ahead and get the master warning knob back into its normal operating position. Go ahead and get the weather radar on. Transponder can be sent to TA and RA. This is some of these things I do on the taxi out normally, but I do them here once we push back, just because it's a one-person crew piloting a plane that's set for 2. You will notice, by the way, we did go back to FSLTL, so do have realistic liveries once again. I had uninstalled that when we had a handful of crash to desktops, and there was a handful of us that thought maybe FSLTL was the common denominator on those. But indeed, it seems like those have subsided, and no one is complaining about FSLTL anymore. So if that was the cause, it was fixed, and if that wasn't the cause, then whatever the cause was fixed, and we're all good. Okay, well, the taxi routing is just going to be eastbound, and I think we're ready to go. Let make sure it is still indeed information India.
Aircraft information kilo is
I was
current.
just going to check that.
70 at 13 at 13 gusting 19.
Okay, 2984 I think is what we already have set. So the winds changed a little bit. Other than that, we are good. Ontario ground, Masaba 5514, information kilo, ready to go.
Masala 5514, roger. Runway 26 right, taxi November 1, Quebec, November, whiskey.
And runway 26 right, November 1, Quebec, November, whiskey, Masaba 5514.
Forward station 504 left.
Okay, so he's sending me out to the left here, just get me around that frontier.
Ontario ground, Frontier Flight 1358. We're east on November 1, ready for taxi 26 right.
And he's going to end up in front of me anyway.
We'll see right now with the Lima short one, 31 right.
November 1, Romeo, November, whiskey.
So he was going to route me around Frontier.
November whiskey 26 right. You want us to give way to that traffic behind us, or are we good to go in front of them?
You're good to go, and actually, yeah, you're good to go. They're just gonna taxi back November. Go the other round.
All right, roger. November 1, Romeo, November whiskey 26 right, 1358. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be slower than you on the climb out anyway.
I was hoping this was gonna work out where either whichever one would be ready first to allow either enough spacing or Frontier to go first. So thank you guys for working perfectly.
I've got twice as many engines, but he's still got twice as much thrust.
You got the boomer plane.
Contact ground, Pelican 3 is 41 request IFR to LAX, information Bravo.
Alright, so there we go. Safety announcement's already been done, so we're good there. What else do we need to do on the taxi out? We can do a brake check really before we leave the ramp. Is ideal.
Good LAX, Cathedral 1 departure bomb string. Maintain 8,000, expect at 12 and 10, departure 128.05.
We'll say that we've done that. Departure frequency, we have that dialed in. 128.05, and he has not advised us of any change in that as of yet, so we'll just go ahead and keep that for now until he tells us something different.
Alright, Kilo, short 13. Sorry, before 11. Oh, 9.7 over the tower. Have a good day yourself. 514 left.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the cabin call when we are number 1, but I will also get on the intercom and tell our flight attendant, because this would trigger the automatic cabin announcements that come with the BAE146. But the
Frontier Flight 1358, contact the tower 120.6. Have a great flight.
Tower 20.6, 1358, see you, Oliver.
Have a great flight, Drew.
But
Fall 5514, contact the tower 120.6. Have a great flight in your 4NC aircraft.
all right, 20.65, Masaba 5514. We'll see you. Thanks.
Have a great day. Thanks for flying.
Gonna be ready to go when we get to the runway.
Frontier Flight 1358, Ontario Tower, wind 260 at 13 gusting 19er, runway 26 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear
Okay.
for takeoff, runway 26 right, Frontier Flight 1358.
That should automatically go out because the automated cabin will kind of respond to that. But we'll go ahead and call cabin crew. We're number 1 for departure. And if that doesn't, because I've disabled those options here in the just flight, we'll just go ahead and cancel it that way.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Number 1 for departure. Got it.
Alright, taxi light can come off. Ontario Tower, Masaba 5514, short of 26 right, ready.
Star 5514, Ontario Tower, hello, runway 26 flight, line up and wait.
Light up and wait, runway 26 right, Masaba 5514.
Frontier Flight 1358, contact SoCal departure 128.050, see ya.
Okay, 2805 is indeed what he was given, and that's what we've got dialed in, so we're good. As we're taking the runway, we'll go ahead and get our strobe lights on. We'll light up the forward-facing lights when we get our takeoff clearance. Alright, there we are. Does this work? Yeah, those work. That switch works that way. Okay. Okay, so I'll just get the landing lights and the turn-off lights on once we get our takeoff clearance. And this is pilot nav, even though it's conventional nav. It says, climb heading 258, intercept and proceed on 114 radial to Pomona. So we're not waiting on him to tell us that. We're going to just do that. That's what we've been cleared to do by virtue of accepting that Pomona 1 departure. And we're going to get airborne about 3 minutes early, maybe? Tower, forget about me? No, he's waiting for the departure ahead to kind of get spaced out ahead of us a little bit. Steadily, welcome back.
Star 5514, wind 260 at 13 gusting 19er, runway 26 right, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 26 right,
TMS
Masaba
takeoff.
5514. Alright, engines responding normally and symmetrically, all warning lights extinguished. Gonna take off power set.
Power set, flex achieved. Speed alive, both sides. 80 knots cross-checked.
right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Try not to over-control the,
V1.
I just want to tell you both. Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Rotate. V2.
Alright, gear coming up.
SR 5514, contact SoCal departure 1281050.
Alright, 2805, Masaba 5514, we'll see you. Capture the vertical speed.
Have a good one.
SoCal departure Masaba 5514, 2,200 going to 10,000.
Lost call departure. I'm sorry, I missed it. The call's on. I got everything else.
No problem, it's Masaba, Mike Echo Sierra, Masaba 5514.
SR 5514, SoCal departure radar contact. I'm gonna maintain 13,000.
On up to 13,000, Masaba 5514. Alright. I've got it doing just about 1,000 feet per minute because I'm trying to get the speed up. I'm going to uncheck vertical speed. I'm going to pitch down a little bit. Maybe have it capture, because it's a pretty warm day here. So I'm going to have it capture maybe a 800 feet per minute climb, and that'll help get the speed up maybe. 42 Victor Rich is here. Yep, we are indeed flying the FNO. Keeps coming back to 1,000. Let's trim it down.
American 1959, contact approach 124.3. 124.3 for American 1959.
And we overshot the radial, so let's get that right turn going. Let's go ahead and get it to our maximum continuous thrust. Continue to kind of trim it down. I don't want to trim it down too much because we got like these big rocks in front of us. But I got to get that airspeed up so we can get climbing here. We need to be at 7,000. Well, no, we got to be no higher than 7,000 by Pomona. And I'm going to take this 301 outbound from Pomona. Don't crash on me, don't crash on me, don't crash on me. Come on back. Oof. That was scary. Still gotta get the pitch down and get the speed up. Yeah, I know, right? I definitely did. Alright, let's get it to grab that radial for us. And then let's get it pitched back up into a climb here. Try and get it to 250 knots here. Yeah, climb performance is just nothing today, nothing. I mean, the other thing we can do, I feel like I want to leave the APU on to run the packs because I need every ounce of power in the engines I can get. This is just a terribly underpowered plane anyway, Stenley, but because it's so hot today, the climb performance is even worse than usual. And on top of that, we have a tippy-top fuel load. So we're very near our max gross, and we're very hot. And it's just an underpowered plane.
Come maintain 3,000. Turn left heading to 366.
So once I get it pitched down to capture 250 knots, we'll just go ahead and
just let me know when you get the airport.
capture the pitch. Capture the pitch to maintain it. Alright, so now we can capture indicated airspeed. Now hopefully we'll get a little climb going.
And we have field safe on 341. Tunnel 341, cleared visual approach, runway 13 right. Visual 13 right, Boeing 341.
So we're taking this out 19 miles, and we need to be at least 14,000 by the time we get there, and then we're supposed to come out to the right toward Daggett. I don't know that we're going to make that 14. Departure Masaba 5514.
Masaba 5514.
Just FYI, we're going to be low at the point Solzu on this Pomona 1 departure just because our climb performance is so bad because of the heat. We're clear of the terrain, though, and we're good to continue unless we're not going to be in conflict with anybody.
This is 5514, yeah. The highest terrain is just immediately up to your right there, and then it goes back down just on the other side of it. So if you're clear about 10 miles up to your 1 o'clock, then you'll be good there. Just advise when you can take a heading back toward Daggett, and I'll get you going that way.
Yeah, I think we need to stay on this heading until, well, if we're at, yeah, we're going to need a few more miles on the present head before we turn, I think.
Masaba 5514, Roger. Just let me know what you need.
Okay.
Approach hello, Pacific Airways, 1385 to cross Flavor at 14,260 knots. Pacific Airways 1385, SoCal approach, good evening.
Yes, JJ says I was just wondering how this thing would perform in high elevation and high heat. Not well is the answer.
FedEx 41 Heavy, thanks, have a good weekend. You as well, thank you.
Alright, so let's put it on, let's put it in the heading mode, and then let's get ready to navigate out to Daggett VOR.
SoCal Falcon 341, should we go over the tower? Yeah, I was just letting them know you're over that. Falcon 341, you can go to the now 1, oh, what's the frequency there? 119.7, let's see. 19.7, Falcon 341.
Departure Masaba 5514, we're okay for that right turn now.
Masaba 5514, clear direct Daggett.
Not yet receiving it, can you point us in the right direction?
Masaba 5514, turn right heading to 060.
060, Masaba 5514. Thanks for taking so long to start those 4 engines. Yeah, no, I know. Crew of one here, man. Crew of one.
Departure,
What can you say?
via the Sunshine 5 departure.
Appreciate you being on for us. Alright, we're coming up through 10. We can get the landing lights off, turn off lights off. We'll go ahead and switch over now to the engine air. APU air can be shut off, APU can be shut off.
Masaba 5514, column main chief, level 290.
290, Masaba 5514.
Pilot class 411, contact approach. 124.05.
A little flash on the panel there just to let us know that the APU is stowed, but nothing there to concern ourselves with. We're still pitched for the 250. And then we can come up top and turn off the emergency hydraulic cross feeds as well. So we are now, and then the other thing we want to do is our cruise checks. I'm sorry, cabin pressure check.
73, present heading, vector for the visual approach, runway 25
Yeah, so the cabin altitude is not yet 1,000.
30 or so miles.
Or no, cabin.
Keep you off the LA final at that speed.
Yeah, oh, actual altitude.
So we have vectors for 25 left, and we're planning the
Okay, target cabin altitude 7,000.
ILS 25 left, we'll let them know. Thank you.
No, I'm not sure how to read it here.
And approach, we were just cleared to the flavor 14,000, but not for the rest of the arrival. Are we clear to continue? You want us to hold the 14? Pacific Airways 1385, the mountain out to your right side.
Okay, so that's the cabin climb rate.
15 miles. I'll give you
This is the differential pressure.
Okay, that's good. We'll save 14. We'll be taking you fine. You bet.
And that's the cabin altitude. Seems like it's on the high side.
Alpha has Palm Springs in sight.
So hopefully that'll level off and the differential pressure will start to rise. So we'll kind of want to monitor that, I think.
Reports of Red Alpha, contact tower 100.7, good day.
Let's make sure I've got the right frequency for Daggett. 13.2, and it is
Departure flight 2232, contact
113.2.
LA Center 126.52, good day. 126.52, your flight Mustafa 5514, let me know when you start receiving Daggett.
Wilco, not yet. Yeah, taking so long to start the engines helped a bit with the sequencing. Yeah, no problem. I mean, we never mind waiting anyway. I'm not one of those streamers that's like, well, don't you know who I am? You put me in the front of the line. You don't make me wait. Oh, you're just making yourself look bad. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'll wait as long as you want me to wait. Trust me, I know who's in charge here, and I know it's not me. 42 Victor, yeah, it's in the stream title. I don't have a command for flights. I do have this, if you want to know, our current one.
Road? Where we're going, we don't need road.
Watch it not work. For some reason, it didn't respond. Anyway, we're going to Provo, Utah. And I don't know why the route didn't display, but...
SoCal approach, Southwest 2327, 11.3, descending via with Echo. So 2327, SoCal approach.
Anyway, yeah, so we departed from Ontario, California. Kind of going through the California desert here. And heading up toward Provo, Utah. Alright, so the cabin altitude has leveled out at 8,000. The differential pressure is now rising. but the cabin altitude is leveled out. We can see that the cabin altitude is no longer climbing. So I will assume that means that the pressurization is working fine. We'll kind of keep half an eye on it, but I think we're okay there. Still haven't picked it up, Stanley asks. No, I guess.
South 5514, contact LA Center 126.52. I let him know that you're not direct jacket yet. If you'll just let him know when you start receiving it, he'll get you direct. Have your extra flight, sir.
Gotcha. Was it 2652, you said?
You betcha, 2652.
All right, 12652. Thanks for the help. South 5514. We'll see you.
Sure.
American 801 LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 2, then return.
But anyway, it is a 71-mile leg off of that turn there. Although I feel like we've covered a good amount of that already, so I'm not sure. Los Angeles Center, Masaba 5514 is 15,200 going to flight level 290. We're on 060 heading for now.
Masaba 5514 LA Center, fly heading 060 when able, clear direct Daggett.
Okay, we'll keep the 060 and we'll let you know when we're able to head to Daggett. It's not Masaba 5514. So if I look at the sky vector chart, Daggett is marked as a low, and I feel like the individual VORs, especially when they do form jet airways, like they are not strictly adherent to that categorization, but the sim simulates them as though they are. So I bet you we're going to be probably close to 30 miles from this thing before we start receiving it. We did have, we can flip this first one here back to, what was the VOR that was behind us? So we can see that behind us by 38 miles is the VOR right where we took off from, which was Pomona. So that gives us some idea of the distance we've covered. I bet you here in a few miles, once it gets closer to 40 miles away, I bet you we'll start picking that up. But anyway, I'm going to just flip that back to the one ahead, which I think is the Las Vegas VOR. Since we're coming up on 18,000, even though we're not quite there yet, I'm going to go ahead and set these up to standard itinerary.
With you, 11,000 or 15,000. Yeah, just 47 LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 290. Up to 290.
Pressurization still looking good.
Chapter 1463, contact Mazatlan Center 128.0.
Oh, nice. 42 Victor says, my dad flew into Provo in the Cutlass 42 Victor to pick me up before flying to Bryce Canyon. He didn't want to come in and out of Salt Lake with the busier traffic. Yeah, no, indeed.
Flight 1358 at Round.
Very cool, very cool. And I have been, I've been to Salt Lake City only one time, and it was literally only to connect flights there. But it was cool coming into that. You really, like, you're in this valley. Landing at the airport, you're really just like right into a valley. Mountains on either side of you. So it was a really neat sight. I got some good pictures of it. But it was neat to be there and see that and be like, oh, I've flown this in the sim, and it looks just the same, you know.
American 1811, 73 miles from Dinty. Radar.
All right, there we go. 38 miles to Daggett, counting down now. So let's.
Change Enberg frequency squawk 2000, Mark 1811. See you back to
Southwest 2040, contact LA Center 124.62.
124.62.
We're direct to the Daggett DOR now. Center Masaba 5514 strike Daggett.
Southwest 5514, roger.
Descend. Descend. Descend.
You beat me to it. This is a really good time. Japan Air 17 LA Center, welcome aboard. Your radar contact 37 miles northwest of Avenel VOR.
We got a
Japan 17.
got an RA there for a second, but I don't see anybody. Not that in the real world you should. In the real world, if you get an RA, you shouldn't look around and be like, "Oh, really? Is there somebody I'm not supposed to hit?"
JetBlue 1463.
But I do feel like sometimes.
Center 128.0.
Yeah, sometimes VATSIM gives us those, or sometimes we get those on VATSIM and they're not really.
November
It's not really
842
there.
Alpha Whiskey contact LA Center 124.62.
Like, what's our differential? So we're at 19.2. That guy's at 24. Yeah, there's no way that guy's triggering an RA. So I've ignored those just because we get those, kind of randomly sometimes. Obviously, in the real world, if you get one of those, you should be immediately acting. Here, it's more like a curiosity. Oh, I wonder who we're about to hit. Yeah, Rich says we would circle over Provo until he reached 14 and then would just barely squeeze through that mountain range. Like I could reach out and grab a snowball. Yeah, I bet, man, I bet. The furry co-pilot's saying like that.
Walker 1400 LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 390. LA Center, Sonic Cooperate with you, 14,700 on the Perez.
I don't think I've done an outside shot for you. There we are. The famous bowling shoe, as they call it. Four engines, but four extremely underpowered engines, as we said. And you can see our climb performance still pulling in about 800 feet a minute here, crossing 22,000. So good thing we're only going up to 29, I guess.
Peak 17, maintain 13,000, all higher at about.
This thing won't get much higher than 29.
Okay, maintain 13,000 for Peak 17. Air France 25, contact LA Center.
Good news is we are receiving the next VOR up the line, which is a high-powered VOR, Las Vegas VOR. So that one, VH and H, yeah, so that one's got a very high range on 116.9. So based on the markings on the chart, we would fly 48 miles out and 48 miles in. However, I'm going to guess, take a wild stab and say we'll probably lose reception from Daggett earlier than we should, but we'll just be able to just navigate the rest of the way in on the Las Vegas VOR. 42 Victor says, Dad was a great pilot. He hated the weekend warrior pilots that kick the tires and start the engines. Yep. It's a hobby that can kill you if you don't take it seriously. It's a little safer in this seat, that's for sure. So 10.8 miles from Daggett, and then what's the next navigation steps? We're going to go outbound.
If our conditions currently enabling of 700 feet, stay in tension.
So is that a 031 or a 032?
I will, I'm not pilot.
Wonder if we go to... Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Southwest 2406, LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 270, have higher at the moment.
I'm going to say since this little reference line thing is on the left side, I don't know. It's hard to tell which one's the actual airway here. I'm just going to go with 032.
Giant 814 LA Center. Sorry, exec check 914 LA Center, climb and maintain flight level 350. 350. United 1632, contact SoCal approach 124.3, good day. Japaner 17, descend via the Ironman 2 arrival, LA altimeter 2985.
Okay, so we're over top the VOR. We're going to enter a gentle left turn. Spin this down to a 032 on the outbound side. And then as we pick it up on the far side, looks like we turned a little late, a little shallow, so I'll put in a handful of degrees of correction, but since we're so close to it, we won't need to make a very radical correction. It should come back in pretty quickly on its own.
Keep 17, clear direct T1 of the OR.
When we get up to cruise, because I feel like our engines are just not putting out as much power today, I'm going to bump that back up to 770 where it was when we started today.
Frontier Flight 2232, start
Yep, so as I said, didn't really need to put in as steep a correction as I did. So now we've overshot it on the other side, but we've got it just popped it into VOR and local mode, and it should be able to grab it and sort out that correction for us. A little sloppy on my part, but we got it done.
Sorry, the last caller was landline saying it. American 212, having to step away for a couple of minutes.
Guys, I'll tell you what, on Sunday afternoon, we've got a real special stream for you. You want to pop in and pop in and check it out. It's our annual Trek to VATventure, the virtual version of the EAA AirVenture, hosted by the VATSIM network. Now, Pilot Edge does one as well. They call that SimVenture. On VATSIM, we call it VATventure, hosted by the Chicago ARTC on VATSIM. And these guys do. I've never done the Pilot Edge one, although I've heard that it's really, really good. I've seen videos of folks doing it. It's really, really good. The VATSIM one has always been a lot of fun as well. And the controllers here do a real good job of really putting on that whole event ambiance. So 3 times we have done this on stream, and we have done the Fisk VFR arrival into Oshkosh. So this time we're going to change it up a little bit. Remember about a month ago when we did that virtual air show, the Blackbird Simulations Corsair? We did that from Galesburg. We did that down in Galesburg, Illinois with the Virtual USA Flying Club. Well, we're going to go ahead and fly that Corsair from Galesburg, Illinois. And we're going to fly it up to Oshkosh, and we're going to use that Warbird arrival. That's actually named that because it goes over Warbird Island. But it is indeed the arrival that if you are in a Warbird that you would typically do.
Hawaiian 317.
So we're going to be flying our Warbird on the Warbird arrival into Oshkosh, Wisconsin, the simulated version of the massive EAA AirVenture show, which we call, on our network, we call it VATventure. So Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. What is that, 1800 Zulu time, I believe? So that'll be off of our normal schedule. And matter of fact, instead of being Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, we're going to be Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday next week. Partially because of that, partially just because of other work and personal obligations that I've got coming up. So it just worked out better to just flip-flop the entire week's schedule, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday next week.
5333.
But Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 Zulu time. You will want to definitely be with us on that day. Our very good friends at Chicago Air TCC. Matter of fact, the event coordinator came up to me at FlightSim Expo just to make sure I had seen that they had put that up there, and make sure I knew that's when they were going to be doing it. So. 42 Victor says, our 42 Victor made its way to Oshkosh once, camped under the wing on the field, which was awesome, and then a B-29, which took off at 6 a.m., managed to wake up everybody. That's probably the coolest alarm clock you'll ever have. Now we got 2,000 to go here.
Right transition, Las Vegas, altimeter 29er, 79er. Las Vegas, 29er, 79er, rounders 2.
And then as we are inbound to Las Vegas, what course are we going to be on? I don't think I've dialed in that course yet. Inbound course to Las Vegas, if we go back to the World High, is going to be... .211, but if we're on the inbound side, that's a 031.
LA Center, Delta 1048 with you, passing 8,700 for 13,000.
That's an expensive alarm clock, yeah it is. I've spun that around twice now.
Call sign again, please. Delta 1048. Delta 1048, LA Center, climb maintains level 390.
Alright, so it should be about another 13 miles that we navigate outbound on Daggett before we switch to inbound to Las Vegas, because it's with absent any other markings on this leg here, you just switch at the halfway point. However, I have a feeling that's going to blink out of radio reception any second, based on how far we were from it when we first received it on the other side. So I'll be surprised if it goes much past 40 here. Given that fact, I'm going to go ahead and center up the heading bug and get ready to pop it over into heading mode. Yeah, every aviation buff should make it out to Oshkosh at least once. Yeah, I never have. Yep, there we go. 40 miles was all it got. So we'll go into heading mode, swap that into nav 1. And looks like we need a little bit of a left adjustment to get on course. But we're not too bad there. We'll go ahead and just get VOR and localizer mode re-engaged. So we are now tracking inbound to Las Vegas on 169. And then the next one up the line. So this will be that point Nora, which is 59 miles out north and east, and then we'll switch over to navigating inbound to
Masaba 5514, contact LA Center 128.6, correction 124.62.
Alright, 2462, Masaba 5514.
American 312, contact LA Center 124.62. Was that American 212? American 212, affirmative 124.62. Or 124.62, American 212, LA Center United 2237, flight level 370 overhead, eBay intersection. United 2237, LA Center, welcome aboard, radar contact.
Alright, 2462. And then what was we never did figure out the answer to the next question, which is what is this VOR? It is this one, Milford. 112.1 will be that next.
American 212 KVLA Center, Roger, Delta
112.1.
Direct to the Milford VOR, climb maintain for level 330.
And then Delta 116.1 will be the next one after that. Although, nope, that Delta's not actually on this airway. The next one for us is going to be Fairfield 116.6. And I'm actually going to swap it. LA Center Masaba 5514, flight level 290.
Masaba 5514, LA Center. Roger. Go ahead.
so sorry, sure. We need
Cabin
5
crew,
levels.
please let our passengers know the seatbelt signs are off and we are at cruise.
Southwest 3134 requesting further sign.
Sure. Because they can't see the sign themselves.
Southwest 3134, climb maintain below 290. Clear to climb 290, Southwest 3134. American 2364 for traffic, turn right heading 330. Right turn 330.
Alright, I'm going to swap it so that we're navigating, because we want to navigate inbound to this one on nav 2. I'll come back to Y in a minute. So we want to be coming into Milford on nav 1, which means we want to be coming into Las Vegas on nav 2, so 116-9er. The reason for that is, as we're navigating inbound to that last VOR on nav 2, that'll allow me to set up the approach on nav 1. I'm going to go ahead and just put the bubble up to about Mach 0.7, Mach 0.71, Mach 0.72, looks like. Maybe Mach 7.3. So we'll leave the cruise power, we'll leave it up in climb power for now until the speed comes up. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get that navigation switch over done. 16-9er. And 031, and if 16-9-031, 16-9-031, so if I do this, it should just be instantaneous and should keep in the right mode, so yeah, we're good there. And then let's reset everything after that. So Las Vegas, once we get outbound, still on a 031, so there's no change there. And then the next one up the line is Milford on 112.1 and a 197. 112.1 and a 197.
And Federation 125 back. Roger, United 2276, contact center 133.2.
112.1 and 197, which is 017. We got a triple beat from our friend Mustafa. He's flying as American 683 tonight. Alright, so we're pretty much at our cruise speed. Let's go ahead and knock this down to our target turbine gas temp. It's the TGT stands for turbine gas temp, but you set the target turbine gas temp here, so I just call it target mode. So now it's got the engines dialed down to where they're all going to match 770, and let's just see what that does to our cruise speed here. We want it to kind of creep up to where the bubble is at Mach 7.3. Does kind of look like, oh, now it's decaying. The ground speed is decaying, so we do want to maybe bump it up to 790 and see what that does. So there's not an auto throttle that'll match a speed here, but there is kind of a semi-auto throttle that will match your engines to each other, and they'll match it to a specific exhaust gas temp. And you can use that as a means to fine-tune your cruise speed.
Southwest 5275, contact Las Vegas approach 135.0.
We're 10 miles from Las Vegas. And I think I said this is the same heading in as out. A 211 becomes a 031, yeah, so we're going to pass straight over it. While we're passing over it, we're going to lose contact with it, though. So I'm going to set heading mode there. And we'll be ready to pop it into heading mode once we lose that signal. But hopefully, if things go well...
American 623, maintain Mach 0.78 or better. Mach 0.78 or better, American 623.
There's our friend Moose. And 441 reminds me that we also heard our friend 757 Spy on the channel earlier. All the streamers are up today. I heard our friend Stu as we were down in Ontario. So there's STW222. There's us passing over Las Vegas. There's our friend Mustafa. This is Cross Hyperu. I didn't hear him yet, but we seem to be chasing him up that direction, and I don't see 757 Spy might have landed already. But yeah, the usual cast of characters.
At this weighted altitude. Best I could do is 0.7.
Okay, so we have now passed over Las Vegas, and we've reacquired the signal, and we're just a little bit off that radial. So I'm going to make sure it's in heading mode. Yeah, heading mode. And we're going to just drift a little bit to the right, and then we'll put it back into VOR and limp mode to recapture it for us. And our cruise speed seems to have equalized it more like...
Good evening, LA Center, Citation 7.
Mach 7-1, so we'll just go ahead and plan to keep it there, I guess.
Moral Bay VOR, flight level 440, flight level 450.
Alright, outbound from Las Vegas on a 031, and we are tracking that out to this intersection, 59 miles. At that point, we need to switch because it is a slight left turn. You'll notice we're on a 031 here, but we're on a 197 here, which is a 017. So it's about a 14-degree left turn that we're going to be making there.
Roger, welcome aboard. Southwest 3134, contact Albuquerque Center, 128.45. 2045, Southwest 3134, yeah.
So we do have to make that transition at 59 miles, and if we, for whatever reason, we know we're going to keep the Las Vegas VOR out at least that far. We were receiving that one over 100 miles away. So we don't have any issues there.
Salt Lake City Center, 120.27. 120.27,
Oh, were you guys able to hear what the lead flight attendant said? I said, go ahead and let the cabin know that we've reached cruise and turned off the fasten seatbelt signs. And he was like, yeah, like they can't see the sign themselves.
133.2, towards your right. American 683, contact LA Center 133.2.
Nah, bye, Moose.
Over to LA Center 133.2 from American 683. Have a good night. GPS 112, contact LA Center 133.2.
133.2, UPS 112, yeah.
American 2364, contact LA Center 133.2. 1222, thanks.
I'm hopeful that choosing Provo will not bite us in the butt here. Salt Lake looks moderately busy, and Provo does not have a separate tower controller. So I'm hopeful that we're not going to get swamped trying to get our clearance out of Provo from a controller. Well, they do have 3 approach controllers, so hopefully the workload is not going to be so high that we're hugely delayed just trying to get a clearance out of Provo. We'll have to see. Fingers crossed that decision won't bite us in the butt.
Number 3232 X-ray, descend at pilot discretion, maintain for level 200. 3200, 32 X-ray.
those that have just joined the channel, just to recap what we're doing for you this evening, something a little bit different than what we normally do, slightly. Lava Cow's with us, hey. So something a little bit different. We're in the Just Flight BAE146, which is not new. We've been flying that one for a while, and we're flying that old school radio-based navigation, slant whiskey style, as we call it. We're heading up from Ontario, California, up to Provo, Utah. Now, the thing that is a little bit different is we've disabled all of the automated cabin crew features that come with the Just Flight. And there are a handful of announcements, cabin announcements and things that are automatically triggered by certain events within the Just Flight BAE146. However, if you were with us just a couple of days ago on Wednesday night, you saw us demoing a new product called sayintentions.ai, an AI-based service which provides human-like, realistic air traffic control services, AI-generated air traffic control services for flight simulation. And as a side product to that, they have AI-generated automated cabin crew. Very, human, realistic, cabin crew interactions. So we've disabled the cabin crew functionality of the Just Flight. We've disabled the ATC functionality of Say Intentions, and we're running both of those things at one time. So we've got ATC services from VATSIM, but we've got the automated cabin crew coming out of Say Intentions. And the funny thing is they've got a number of different crews with different personalities that you can choose on Say Intentions, and we've got the one selected that's a little bit kind of over it. Intentionally just a little bit kind of off, like we're not having a good day. We're ready to call it a day, maybe go home and have a, drink ourselves silly kind of day. And that's the kind of crew that we have right now. And the lead attendant, you've probably heard him talk a few times if you've been with us. We asked him to let the cabin crew know. We asked him to do the safety briefing, and he was like, you might pay attention, you might not pay attention. I don't really care. In case you forgot how to operate a seatbelt, we'll show you. It was like pretty sarcastic and funny. And then when we got up to cruise just now, I told him to go ahead and let everybody know we turned the seatbelt lights off. And he's like, yeah, like they can't see the sign on their own. Fun stuff. We'll see what he says when we start our descent. Thinking in terms of our descent, by the way, I guess we'll maybe do some event planning. By the way, we'll start with the ATIS information at Provo. It is running information alpha 300 at 5, so nice light winds, altimeter 3004. I'm going to go ahead and set the 3004 over here in the standby altimeter, because we're not going to be flying off of that. For right now, that's going to just look like it's off. We're still flying off of this one. But when we get into that descent, we'll be able to just glance down here and see what the local altimeter was last observed at. So that's step number one, 3005, 300 at 5, 3004. Visual approach is landing and departing 31.
Alright, we'll descend via the Rockstar 3 and we'll expect 8 right for Delta.
We do not have a star. We're just going to get descended off of our route when it's appropriate. Let's kind of maybe get a sense of where we want to start that descent. We have a visual to 3-1. We do not have an instrument approach to 3-1. We could, if we needed to do an instrument approach, we could do an instrument approach, an ILS to 1-3, and then circle to 3-1. However, I'm sure if we get vectors to a visual, that will be fine. We'll go ahead and tune some elements of this just to be thoroughly briefed and ready. However, we're going to get a visual coming from the south and east to runway 31, so that seems like it's better. The terminal building is down here at the beginning of runway 31, so whatever turnoff we make, we're just going to make a right turn as soon as we can. I have a feeling it's going to be up here at Alpha 3, but we'll just be taxiing all the way back down to the south and east onto Alpha, or via Alpha, and the terminal building is down here. It's a pretty small commercial service. I think in the real world they've got like a Legion and American and Breeze doing just a handful of commercial flights daily. This is a small regional airport. It's probably 30 miles south of Salt Lake.
LA Center, double 1187 request.
So not a very big airport here. It is a Class Delta.
Delta 1187 requesting flight level 360 is available.
But and the field elevation is 4,500 feet. So if our pattern altitude or our intercept altitude for the visual is going to be like maybe 6,500 feet, we're at 29 and we need to go to a 6.5. We're going to have 22,500 to lose, and I always use a ratio of 3.5 miles per thousand. So we're going to want to start that descent almost 79 miles. We're going to say 80 miles round figures prior to Provo. So what does that mean for us? 80 miles. And this is a, so this is almost, you know, a beam, really. So when we're, 80 miles to go, so when we're 40 miles past Milford is when we're going to want to start that descent.
44, contact LA Center. This is standby for the frequency of this. It should be LA Center.
36, pretty warm day. 97 degrees Fahrenheit or thereabouts. Clear skies and very light winds, we said. Hot and clear.
LA Center, good afternoon. Southwest 4883 with you, flight level 360. Southwest 4883 LA Center, Roger, welcome aboard.
By the way, I think I've passed my navigation step here. Yeah, I've passed this point in Nora. I'm off of Jet 9. I need to get back on inbound to Milford on this 197.
Mike Echo Sierra 5514, contact Salt Lake City Center 120.27.
Alright, 12027, Masaba 5514.
Center American 201, we wonder if we can step away for 2 minutes. American 201. With you, flight level 30.
United 2673, Salt Lake Center, Roger.
Okay, so we're 80 miles south of Milford, and we're correcting back onto that 017 radial. Salt Lake Center to Saba 5514, flight level 290. We're a little bit right of course here, correcting now to get back on that Jet 9.
It's about 5514, Salt Lake Center, Roger, not a problem.
Yeah, so basically what happened, well, so what happened was...
40, send buses rescue cross frenzy at 15,000, 250 knots, expect 34 left, Salt Lake altimeter 3001.
I accidentally continued straight past that intersection Nora, still on that, whatever, the 031. So I kept the 031 past that now. So now I'm flying it due north to re-intercept it up here. So not a huge deal, but definitely a navigational error. Notice the thunderstorm returns that are on SkyVector. Looks like we're okay. Like those storms are not being rendered for us.
Airfield VOR at and maintain 14,000 and 250 knots or less. The Salt Lake altimeter is 3001.
Okay,
a little bit of unsettled air to our east, but looks like we're okay for now. Rob lost as usual. No, not lost. Fisto is watching, just not paying attention as usual. So we're almost back on that. And you notice how slow that needle comes back in, because we're very far from the VOR, right? That deviation needle doesn't tell you how many miles off course you are. It tells you how many degrees off course you are. So just as an example, I'm going to use this view. This is not the VOR that we're navigating to, but just as the sake of an example. All right, if this is the course that you want to fly, and you're coming in slightly off course, well, the further away you are, the bigger the lateral distance is. As a matter of fact, if you're 60 miles away, but you're 1 degree off course, that distance, that lateral distance is a mile. You're a mile right or left of where you should be if you're 1 degree off at 60 miles distant.
Let me work on the handoff. Showing you actually a little bit off course. Proceed direct Corker. Charlie Oscar Romeo Kilo Romeo. Okay, we'll do it. Corker. My apologies. I must have
We're lost, but we're making great time. But anyway, so we now are navigating inbound to that Milford. Inbound to that Milford VOR here. There's our friend Cross High Peru. So once we get 40 miles north of Milford, right? 125 mile length, so 45 miles north of Milford, that's about where we're going to start down. We'll have to get some buy-in from that from our controller, and of course terrain plays a factor as well. We are indeed receiving that next VOR up the line, that Fairfield VOR, so that's good. Sorry, I didn't mean to smack you guys right in the ears there. My apologies. But we're about 45 miles prior to Milford, and about 45 miles after Milford is when we will start our descent. So I would say we are about 90 miles. We're about 90 miles from our top of the descent right now.
Sorry, say again. It's going to be 124.62. Yeah, 12462, that's Fairway 79. Just, you let them know I'm going to be gone, or do you want me to contact? Contact them, and they'll have that request. Okay, okay, thanks.
Salt Lake Center, good evening citation, 978 Delta Bravo, flight 1450, about 5 from Galley.
Tuttles has hit the follow button. I'm assuming that's how we're saying that, Tuttles. If you want me to say that some other way, let me know. I'm notorious on this channel for butchering place names and Twitch usernames, so apologies if I've just made you my latest victim. But welcome to the stream, good to see you, and thanks for the follow.
And citation 978.
So we have
I'm not showing you,
lost touch with the VOR. Maybe that was that the VOR behind us? Why would we lose touch with that? I thought that was the Fairfield one. Maybe I have it dialed in. The Fairfield one ahead of, oh no, that was the Las Vegas one behind us. Fairfield's 116.6.
Just head back to your last frequency and
so let's see if we're receiving that one yet. Fairfield, when we do receive that, we're going to want to come in on a 188, which would be a 008. Greetings from Argentina. Well, thank you very kindly. I'm glad to have you aboard here.
I got nobody else online, so I'll go check you the other frequency thing.
Delta 1672, contact Salt Lake approach 128.6.
Kind of periodically rechecking that Provo data. So, oh, it did update. It's now on information Bravo, variable for 3003 now, so we'll dump that, dump that down to 3003. I'm assuming everything else is the same. Probably still landing and departing 3-1. Yeah, visual approach. Okay. No big deal there.
West 3280 Salt Lake Center, roger.
Salt Lake Center, Masaba 5514. Were you able to step out for just a couple?
Yeah, not a problem. Report back.
Okay, thank you. All right, friends, we're going to do a little bit of a liquid recycling break here. We'll be right back with you.
4.62.
LA 2462.
Beaver 277, same for you, contact LA Center 124.62.
2462, super 277.
Airframes 025, contact Denver Center on 128.32.
Denver 128 calling straight to West Huntsman, Ocean Side, LA.
Salt Lake Center, Walker 1400, level 350,
Walker 1400, Salt Lake Center, roger.
Salt Lake Center, Honda, now level mic 18.7, climbing to Provo. I don't know if that's right.
That's multiple at once, November 918, Bravo Mike, Salt Lake Center, climb maintain flight level 4380.
Climb maintain 430, November 91, Bravo Mike.
City Center, King Air 875, Echo level, flight level 250.
King Air 87, Charlie Echo, Salt Lake Center, roger.
Salt Lake, Colin 01, level 380.
Colin 01, Salt Lake Center, roger. Colin 01, same Mach number.
Decimal 9 or 8 for Colin 01.
Roger, I'll try and get you as fast as I can, as long as I can, just expect a slowdown, probably.
Look out for Colin 01.
And southwest 2040, contact Salt Lake approach on 128.6.
126, southwest 2040.
Eastern 125, you got traffic at your about 11 and 10 o'clock, 5 miles northbound of the southwest at flight level 180.
125. Negative traffic from that look.
Roger, and you can contact Salt Lake approach on 128.6, let me know you got that traffic.
20.6, we're looking 20.5 shorter.
Delta 1384, contact LA Center on 124.62.
24.62, Delta 1384.
So it's been through 80. It's pretty similar to less than an hour. I don't think much.
Skywest.
Back with you. Let's see, we passed over.
Yeah,
So 007 out of Milford is what we should be doing. So we've overshot the terminal because it wasn't here. But let's...
Alright, we'll try that next week.
November 2 Alpha Whiskey, contact Salt Lake Center on on 119.
Go ahead and get that turn affected, and
1995, 2 Alpha Whiskey, on.
don't have to put in a radical correction. We're still fairly close to the VOR. We'll send a Masaba 5514 back at the wheel.
Masaba 5514, roger. And Emirates 37 Victor, contact Salt Lake Center
Yeah, go ahead and just grab that.
119.95.
Salt Lake 119.95, Emirates 37 Victor, thank you, good day.
All right, friends. Well, we're back with you. We are making our way into Provo and in Utah, just south of Salt Lake City, and we're going to want to start down when this gets to 45 miles. And we are receiving the Fairfield VOR counting down from 112 now, so we do have that ready to go. And then we can start to tune a instrument approach 110.3, so ILS to or localizer runway 13. However, we're going to be a visual 3-1. So this would be really just kind of a backup plan B kind of thing. We can put it in for some instrument guidance, but we're not going to be able to rely on that guidance explicitly because we're going to be coming into the field from the opposite direction that it's designed for. So the BAE146 data, yes indeed, and we got the follow there from Fed. Thank you very kindly, Fed. Glad to have you on board. Yeah, there's right. You could kind of follow the back course, but there's not a published back course approach. So you wouldn't have, for example, you wouldn't have altitudes along that back course that you would be able to adhere to and know that you would be safe from terrain or obstacles or things like that. So yeah, we can kind of informally use that back course Deadeye, but since it's not a published approach, it wouldn't be 100% safe to rely on it completely. Top Wing is with us, has hit the follow as well. Thank you kindly for being here, guys. It's the BAE146 from Just Flight. We are on the VATSIM network for the Friday Night Ops event. And on top of that, we're kind of just as an experiment, we're running Say Intentions AI in the background as well. Now, we've disabled the cabin crew announcements that come stock with the BAE146, and we've disabled the air traffic control services that come through sayintentions.ai, but we do have the AI cabin crew working and coming through the stream. So, kind of doing services from one service and AI interaction from another service, just to kind of play with it. Deadeye says, I can't wait for their RJ to come out. Just gonna fly that thing like everyone else flies the Trip 7. Yeah, indeed. Now, of course, they do have that very good Fokker 28, I think it is, 27, 28. I forget exactly which one. I think it's the Fokker 28 that everyone likes as well. That's kind of another, like this, a very kind of old school vintage regional jet. But yeah, no, good products. Just like we've been pretty happy with this one. This is a plane we put a lot of mileage on. And the Northwest Jet Link livery, the bowling shoe as they call it.
United 2396, contact LA Center 124.62.
124.62 on 2396.
Yeah, Deadeye says, hope that Microsoft can pull off that 707. Yeah, who was it at Flight Sim Expo that announced that? I don't think it was Microsoft. It was an add-on developer that's coming out with a 707, I thought. Oh, Aeroplane Heaven, maybe. Yeah, okay. No, I think there was another developer that would do it in 707.
1400, Roger.
I gotta remember now.
Wasaba 5514, same Mach number.
We're Mach 72. Also, we're going to be ready for a descent when you get a chance.
Yep, Wasaba 5514, 10 passengers crashing cross. See, cross 30 miles south, The airfield we are at and maintain 14,250 knots.
Okay, 14,250 knots, 30 south of Fairfield, Masaba 5514.
So 5514 and that Salt Lake altimeter for you is 3001.
At 3001, Masaba 5514.
Walker 14 under descend and maintain flight level 200.
Down to flight level 200 at 1400.
United 2153, contact LA Center 124.62.
Oh, let's, here's the problem.
2462 for that.
We want to go ahead and get that into descent. And then signal.
Eastern 2536, descend and maintain flight level 300.
And then what else we want to do? We want to go ahead and set the pressurization to landing altitude. Landing altitude is 4497, 4,500 feet basically.
Delta 1252, minute climb maintain flight level 290 for traffic.
290,
Cabin crew, advise passengers, fasten seatbelt signs are on, and we've started our descent. Let's see what he says.
Captain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim, your lead flight attendant. The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign as we have started our descent. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
Oh, he actually did it with without a lot of snark that time. That was kind of nice. Alright, so we now want to switch over to where we're navigating inbound to Fairfield, so let's put it into heading mode, swap it into F2, 61, so we got 30 miles to lose 11,000 feet. Yeah, we're going to need to pull some more power out and get down a little quicker here. So I'm going to bring the engines all the way back to
Walker 1400, maintain 230 knots.
To 60%. That's as low as you can go, unless you get the APU running. But let's start putting in some parameters for our arrival here, friends. If we were to end up on the instrument approach, which we don't plan to be, but let's just use it as a backup plan, it is on frequency 110.3. The course on that is 134. Okay, so we got that dialed in. Minimums, barometric minimums are 4756. I only have a radio altimeter in here. 259 above ground level. Just to be conservative, because we're going to set the radio altimeter, but we're bound to this, 4756. Just to be on the conservative side, because the terrain varies so widely. You're not really supposed to set a radio altimeter for a Cat 1 approach. But I'm going to just set it conservatively for 300 above ground level and hope that that's going to be enough time. But we're really bound by this 4756 minimum. We'll call it 4800 minimum.
Delta 1252, maintain Mach point.
Actually, to a circling minimum, 4900 foot minimum. We're going to call it 5,000 foot minimum for the circling. It is airplane heaven? Okay. I think there's another developer, though. I'll have to look and see, go back to the the Flight Sim Expo Friday announcement, somebody else said they were doing a 707. It wasn't Airplane Heaven. It was one of the developers that did that did an announcement on that FS Expo Friday. Matter of fact, on my Facebook page or my Twitter page, I'm sure I mentioned who it was. So maybe the more than one 707 is in production right now, possibly. But I really don't feel like it was Airplane Heaven. I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm saying that there was one that was announced on Flight Sim Expo Friday that was someone else's. By the way, Provo is kind of tucked into this little corner of this lake here. I'm feeling it's like right there probably.
Walker 1400 cross at 35
we've got 3,000 more feet to lose in 8 miles, so we're a little bit above our assignment here.
Alright, head cross Fairfield.
It is information Bravo.
Repeat all that.
It's still visual through 303.
Cross 35 miles south of the Fairfield BOR. At and maintain 14,000, 230 North Salt Lake, altimeter 3001.
Alright, 35 miles south of Fairfield, 14,000.
And we're going to start. We're going to start the 10,000 foot checklist early, just because our field elevation is basically 5,000 feet. Let's come up top and turn on the hydraulic cross feeds. Let's go ahead and get the APU on, and we'll transfer the pack power over to the APU just to give us that extra boost in the engines in case we need to go around.
2536 contact, Salt Lake Center 119.9.
Set our bugs for arrival. Flat 30 arrival is going to be 128.
LN01 contact LA Center on 124.62. LN01 pushing 124.52.
Alright, we're only 500 feet high. We didn't do too bad there.
Air 112, Salt Lake Center, and Delta 1252, Salt Lake Center. Yeah, Delta 1252, tried calling you a couple times for your climb. Maintain Mach 0.70, then climb
we
maintain
talked about the
level
turnoff as well.
Mach 70 and 360 service has.
Okay, now as the plane levels.
14 contact. Salt Lake approach 118 or 128.6.
Alright, 28.6 Masaba 5514. Alright, we'll put some power back in to maintain 250, but we're not gonna get too much higher than that. Salt Lake approach Masaba 5514, 14,000. Get information Bravo at Provo.
Masaba 5514, Salt Lake approach, thanks. The Provo altimeter is 3003, descend and maintain 10,000.
3003, 10,000, Masaba 5514.
I'm going to need some pliers and a set of 30-weight ball bearings.
Melvin is here. Alright, let's arm
it's
that.
All ball bearings nowadays.
5514 after frenzy. Flighting 060 vectors for the visual approach from a 31.
I'm looking for the waypoint. Oh, after frenzy, got it. 060 was it?
Affirmative.
Roger, Masaba 5514.
I got you 8762, welcome to Provo, right turn alpha to the ramp. Good evening, cross runway 36. Well, forecast 36, I got you 8762.
Alright, so after frenzy, which is 20 miles away, that's now. So frenzy's on a 20-mile DME, and we just crossed it. So 060. And let's go ahead and get the APU air on and the engine air off. And landing lights on. We'll get the turn-off lights on when we get our landing clearance. Cabin crew, brief passengers for arrival, please.
Line up on my 3-1, Papa, thanks, sir.
Sure.
Sub 5514 reaching 10,000, reduce speed to 190.
Alright, down to 10,000 and then 190 the speed of Saba 5514.
Eastern 125 Alpha 31 at Alpha 1.
Alright, I'm going to pull a little bit of spoiler in.
Alpha to park in if you need it, cross 18 today.
Thanks much. Eastern 125.
Great, Papa Juliet, flight Provo for departure, runway 31, clear for takeoff, wind variable at 4.
Let's go to clearance for Provo 4.
Miss Saba, Melvin, Miss Saba, MES 5514. Guys, it's a little early, but we're going to get banged pretty much onto a visual approach here fairly expediently, I imagine. So let's go ahead and get some predictions into the chat as far as the vertical descent rate at the moment the wheels touch down. Pardon me, no bot commands necessary here for that, just a number into the chat, positive or negative. It represents your guess as to the vertical descent rate at the moment the wheels touch runway surface. Minus sign is optional. We know you need a descent rate either way. We'll put a little bit of power back in, keep the 190.
Approach number 3310, Romeo on the corner of Provo, cross clearance to flex south.
Number 3010 Romeo, select departure. You're cleared to the Fairfield Vortex.
Like that's our,
Provo 4 obstacle departure.
like that's our airport right there.
And maintain 9,000. Next up, flight level 370, 10 minutes after departure.
I kind of feel like we're still a little high for that.
0505. Expect further clearance at Fairfield.
To do Fairfield Vortex, flight Provo for departure, maintain 9,000, expect 370 at 10, squawk 0505, and expect further at Fairfield 10 Romeo.
Number 5514, descent maintain 9,000 and turn left heading 310.
Alright, 9,000, 310. We do have the field in sight, by the way. Side 5514.
How do you want the vision approach from there?
I think we might be a little high for it, but we'll try it.
No, I'll give you a vector. You can expect vector.
Okay, I'll expect vectors. Masada 5514. 310 down to 6, was it for now?
Down to 9,000.
9,000.
Disconnected.
Number 3010, Romeo, the reback is correct. Runway 318 is Bravo, advised ready to taxi.
Yeah.
Number 8, Papa Julie, you are radar contact, stay altitude.
Alright, I know.
9,000, direct Tommy.
What's going
Number
on?
8, Papa Juliet, Roger, climb and maintain flight level 230.
230, Papa Juliet, thanks, sir.
Cross Lake, approach Walker 1400 and 145.
Walker 1400, Salt Lake approach, hello. The Provo altimeter is 3003, expect...
Why is it making that noise? I wish I knew.
Runway 31, descend and maintain 10,000. Walker 1400, vision approach 31, descend and maintain 10,000.
Signal approach 31, maintain 10,000.
Alright, there we go. Alright, 900,000. So I've got manual control now.
Papa Juliet, expect one lap and a hold at Fairfield for altitude.
Hold at Fairfield for altitude, Papa J.
Saba 5514, continue a left turn now, heading 170, left 170.
170, Masaba 5514.
Walker 1400, reduce speed to 190.
Speed 190, Walker 1400.
Okay. So we're just going to manually pitch to 9,000, 170 on the heading. $190 on the airspeed, which we're pretty close to. Alright, not bad. Yeah, it disconnected the autopilot, I think, because the speed got so slow that we activated the stall warning. But then when I hit the autopilot cancel, it didn't stop the alarm. So then I had to re-engage the autopilot and cancel the autopilot. So, not... confluence of a couple little things going on there.
Julie Roger, expect for the clearance in 3 minutes.
We're okay.
Copy.
Couple. 5514, continue the left turn now, heading 120, you can descend and maintain 8,000.
At 120 down to 8,000, Saba 5514.
Saba 5514, and the rollout, the field will be off your 9 o'clock in 3 miles, report the airport and say.
Okay, we'll be looking at Saba 5514. We got it.
Saba 5514, clear visual approach runway 31.
Visual approach runway 31, Saba 5514.
Walker 1400, turn right heading 080, descend and maintain 9,000.
Right 080 down to 9,000, Walker 1400.
Okay, so we're basically on a downwind.
November 8, Papa Juliet, you're cleared to the Cancun airport via the direct
Looking for this runway here, not this one here. That's 36, 31's the one over there to the right.
The Cancun airport via Fairfield as well. Papa J.
Alright, so we're going to dial our bug down to the VREF speed now, or V approach speed. Pull the engines all the way back. Cabin crew, take seats for for arrival.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Cabin crew, take your seats for arrival.
Keep those predictions coming, guys. Last call coming in.
And Papa J, level 23 for higher.
Hey, Papa Juliet, stand by waiting for a handoff.
2,500.
Copy.
Salt Lake approach, good evening. Delta 2663, sending 17,600 to 16,000.
It
To the right, Papa Juliet, connect Salt Lake Center
bouncing around a little bit here.
127.
12017, Papa J.
2027.
2027, Papa J, thanks, sir.
Delta 2663, Salt Lake approach, hello, Salt Lake altimeter 3001, expect the...
landing flaps are set, ears down in green.
3001, expect 35.
I'm not sure we have a landing clearance yet.
Walker 1400, descend and maintain 7,000, traffic here following 12 o'clock and 5 miles. It's a BAE146 out of 6,000.
Half the we're-looking British jet in sight and down the 7,000.
Walker 1400, follow the traffic, clear vision approach runway 31.
Follow that traffic, clear vision approach 31, Walker 1400.
Southern 5514, the wind's variable at 4, runway 31, clear to land.
Little land 31, stop at 5514.
Delta 2663, flighting of 310, vector to final, descend maintain 11,000.
310 down to 11,000, vector to final, Delta 2663.
Solid approach, Kinger 87 Charlie Echo out of level 205, descending flight level 1, correction 14,000.
Speed's getting a little low.
November 87 Charlie
Off
Echo.
tracking a little to the left.
Altimeter is 3003. Expect the visual approach for way 31. Theo Bravo, expect visual tree 1 for November 87 Charlie Echo. Delta 2663 reaching 11,000, reduce speed to 210.
Minimums. Reaching 11,000, reduced to 210 knots, Delta 2663.
Walker 1400, reduce the final approach speed. The wind is variable at 4, runway 31, clear to land.
Alright, down to approach speed, parking at runway 31, clear land.
Suncountry 762, clear to Flagstaff. Suncountry 8762, solid departure. Clear to the Fairfield 4 taxi, the Provo 4 optical departure. Maintain 9,000, expect flight level 39010 minutes after departure. Departures this frequency, squawk 6016, expect further clearance past Fairfield.
Yeah, we got the spoilers out. We got spoilers out there.
Clear the Fairfield 4 tech, Provo 4 ODP up to 9,000, 39010. Departures with you, squawk 6016, and expect for clearance at Fairfield.
Yeah, the SOP on this aircraft is to get that spoiler out basically over the threshold, because otherwise it's very, very floaty. And even with that, we got power out and spoiler out over the threshold. It still was very, very floaty.
2663, contact final approach 125.7.
It's okay. It was a little shaky because we were kind of getting bounced around a little bit. But,
500. Walker 1400 going forward.
Walker 1400, roger, and go on to make left traffic for my 31.
Make left traffic, runway 31, Walker 1400.
did I not get off quick enough for him?
5514, welcome to Provo, taxi to parking via Alpha, across runway 18.
Alright, parking via Alpha, cross 18 if we didn't get off fast enough for Walker. Sorry about that.
I put you a bit tight. Walker 1400, able to maintain your own terrain and obstruction avoidance.
8 firm, Walker 1400. It's been a while since I flew a 737 in Panama.
Walker 1400, roger, and you can make the left downwind discretion.
Alright, we can stow the flaps.
4, May 31, clear to land.
Stow the spoilers.
31, clear to land, Walker 1400.
Landing lights.
Turn
off lights.
You said maintain 10,000, then reduce speed to 19.
Cabin crew, welcome our passengers to Provo, please.
10,000, then reduce speed to 190, November 87 Charlie Echo.
Attention passengers, welcome to Provo.
Eastern
Enjoy your stay or whatever.
Heavies, crossing speed 16,000 and 210 knots assigned by the previous controller. Information Yankee on board. Eastern 2536 heavy Salt approach. Thanks for Yankee.
So flight directors are off, weather radar's off.
Expect the ILS approach to runway 31.
Transponder can go into transponder mode.
And sorry, expect the ILS approach runway 34 left. Okay, expect the ILS runway 34 left, Eastern 2536, thanks.
TMS, that's the other one I always tend to forget in this one.
Eastern 2536 heavy, you can just maintain 11,000.
Got to 11,000, Eastern 2536.
Alright, what else we got? Speed braking flaps, the TMS, flight directors, landing lights, taxi lights, strobe lights I think I missed. Yep, that's there. Runway exit lights we got. Weather radar and transponder. Okay, we're good.
November 87 Charlie Echo, turn right heading 040, vector to final.
Right heading at 040, November 87 Charlie Echo.
Yeah, we're going all the way down to the actual passenger terminal, at least
Eastern
according to this map,
36,
is all the way down here at the southeast of the field. However, I kind of don't see a building over there.
Control craft, it is Zulu's current at Salt Lake altimeter is 3002. It is Charlie's current at Provo altimeter is 3005.
So I don't see a building down here where there's supposed to be one, but we'll get creative, I guess.
November 87 Charlie Echo, continue the right turn heading 090.
Right turn 090, November 87 Charlie Echo.
Oh, we should get the Provo payware? Yeah, no, I did not definitely do that. But here we are. Yeah, we're parking in the wasteland. Yeah, indeed. So I guess I don't know where. Maybe this building was under construction when the scenery was generated. Yeah, oh well. That's okay. The Provo Salt Flats. Yep, that's where we are. Okay, let's run through the turnaround checklist, and then we'll head on out and get ready to head down to Phoenix.
Right 7 Charlie Echo traffic.
See how we do.
12 o'clock in 8 miles with 737.
Taxi lights off, we did. Parking brake engaged. We can get the master warning knob out.
17 8,000.
Go ahead and get our oxygen systems off. Who was that? That's Boy Does All and Cheeks94 have both hit the follow button there in the last couple of minutes. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Hope that you'll stop back and see us. Let's get the we get the oxygen systems off. We can get the hydraulic cross feeds off.
JetBlue 142 just passed 180 for 150.
We can get the hydraulic pumps off.
JetBlue 142 Salt Lake approach. It is Zulu is current. Expect the ILS approach from my 3-4 left.
Engine generators off.
The maintain
pack number 2 off.
The Salt Lake altimeter is 3002.
Throttles into cutoff.
We have Zulu and expect the ILS 3-4 left. JetBlue 142.
Right 7 Charlie Echo, traffic short final from my 3-1. The field's off here 9 o'clock.
Cabin crew, you can begin the deboarding process.
Alright, we've got traffic and field sight on right 7 Charlie Echo.
Sure, Captain.
Right 7
We'll get
Charlie
right
Echo,
on
cleared
that.
visual
Ladies
approach
and
from
gentlemen,
my 3-1.
we're finally here.
Visual
Please
3-1,
gather your
right,
belongings and get off the plane as quickly as possible. Have a wonderful life.
Did I just lose power? Yeah. I just lost power in the house here, guys. I think we're still connected because I've got a backup system on the stream stuff, but we're not going to be able to stay on very long. I think we're probably just going to have to cut the stream short here. Alright, well, I've got to, while I'm, while I've got a few minutes, let's go ahead and finish up the shutdown. I'll award the tickets for the most, for the closest guests, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up here. So, chocks, doors, cargo, start deboarding.
Right, Charlie Echo, the wind, 3204, runway 31, clear to land.
Clear to land, orange 7 Charlie Echo.
I'm down at the bottom.
142, reaching 11,000,
Yaw
reduce speed to
dampers off.
210.
210 at 11,000.
Squawk 2000s. Standby. We'll check on a fuel and ETA. Yeah, I know, it's yelling at me because that's only going to be able to hold us for about 15 minutes, I think. So we're supposed to be down on the ground at 10 after 10 Eastern, and on the blocks at quarter after 10 Eastern. Yeah, pretty much did that, and we should have 12.8 left in the tanks. Let's see how we did with that. 12.8. Well, we nailed that. Okay, so timing and fuel estimates worked out really well in this aircraft. I always come up with those numbers on my own, not the numbers from SimBrief. And you can find my tutorial on my YouTube channel for flight time and fuel estimates if you want to know where I come up with my numbers. Let's real quick get that ticket awarded. Whoever was closest to our descent rate upon touchdown, which was 253.
Romeo, runway 31, taxi via Alpha.
31 via Alpha, Romeo.
So let's see where you guys were. Yeah, the battery backup's only going to hold us for a few minutes, guys. So 69, 173, 181 was Melvin, 122, 202. 4, 165, 128, 243, I think is Iowa Scotsman's only 10 minutes away. 255, Relax Portal only 2 away. 225, Lava Cow. Man, I think you guys were kind of all over it. 310 from Sector Vectors. Yeah, so I think Relax Portal gets another one. Relax Portal, wow, you've really been
JetBlue 142, contact final approach 125.7.
really been on your game with that lately. So Relax Portal gets the win, unless I'm missing one.
Sun Country 8762, taxi Provo. Sun Country 8762, runway 31, taxi Alpha 5.
At KPVU.
318 Alpha 5, Sun Country 8762.
12th today.
10, we just follow the Sun Country 73.
Yep, very good. All right, let's finish up the shutdown as quickly as possible and go ahead and close up shop here, friends. So obviously the leg 2 is going to have to be bagged.
Departure. Ready. Sun Country 8762, fly the Provo 4 obstacle departure, wind 320 at 4, runway 31, cleared for takeoff.
Nav radio's off. DME radio off. The comm radios can be turned off here. And the DME radios can be turned off. We'll come up to the overhead, and all the masters can be turned off up here. Anti-skid can, brake fans off, anti-skid off. Lift spoiler systems off. Cabin emergency lights off, which is what, over here. No smoking lights. Oh, never got that on. Oh well, that's off now. And logo and nav lights can come off. Let's go down to the overhead low. Let's go ahead and turn the other pack off. The APU air can be turned off. The APU itself can be turned off. The left inner fuel pump can be turned off. The center tank transfer can go to shut. Galley switch to shed. The APU gen can come off. Bus ties off. Standby inverter and generators off. And the battery switches off there and there. I know, I'm trying to wrap up as quickly as I can. If I get cut off, guys, then just we're not even done deboarding. Can I change that? Yeah, once it's done, it's done. Oh well. Yep. So I'll close the aircraft up after we finish the deboarding, if it'll let me, or my battery backup might cut out by then. But let's just go ahead and wrap up the stream anyway. So we can have at least a nice shutdown, and we can give somebody a raid here. Who else is flying the event still? I don't think I've raided Stu in quite some time. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give Stu a raid. We haven't given him a raid in quite some time. So, yeah, sorry that we're not able to stay on and do the second leg for you. But as you can tell by the ambient light missing and the battery backup beeping behind me, I have no power in the house all of a sudden. So we are going to be dark here in a matter of moments anyway. But thanks for flying along. Our next stream, guys, is Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, a special one. So we're going to be off of our normal schedule all next week, by the way. Normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. But off of our normal schedule all next week as we Sunday fly for you at 2 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern Time, 1800 Zulu Time, for VATVenture, the VATSIM version of EAA AirVenture. So we'll be doing that with the Chicago ARTCC on Sunday. We're going to do the Warbird arrival for the first time. We've done the Fisk arrival on the stream 3 times previously. On Sunday, we're going to do the Warbird arrival in that Milvis Corsair, where we did that virtual air show in Galesburg, Illinois, a month or so ago. Now we're going to fly it from Galesburg up to Oshkosh via the Warbird arrival. So I think that battery is trying to tell me it's got seconds left to go. Let's go ahead and give Stu a raid, guys. We'll talk to you Sunday. Have a great start to your weekend, and we'll talk to you then. Be happy, healthy, and safe in all of your own travels and adventures between now and again. Good night, friends.